Good, man. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks.
What's up, Jimmy?
Just chilling.
What's going on, Rich? What's going on, Mike?
So,
It's another beautiful.
oh yeah, it's gorgeous outside, isn't it? Where you're at?
Right? Yeah, it's nice and sunny.
Yeah, I fucking miss that, man.
Oh man.
This is the beginning of when it's shitty to be here. Oh wait, it's always.
Oh god. Oh, that's right. We're going into winter. It's like fall.
Yeah.
Here, I guess, right? Yeah, we don't get. It's like constant summer, so we're like fall and winter. Like, huh? What is that? Oh, you mean it's gonna rain?
Oh yeah.
They're like, go fuck yourself.
So before we started recording, we were just talking about all the new revelations that have been made with a suspect in the bomber case, the what I consider the fake bomber case, because I don't think any of these bombs are. I mean, that's probably I'm saying a little too much, but there's just too many coincidences that you would think one of these bombs would have gone off, or we'd
Have
see
they
more.
been opened up yet, like to see if they were actually even bombs, or was it just an empty fucking case?
Yeah, that's a good question, because like with what have we been shown by like CNN and these other news places is a photo of what could be like you can go get gas piping at your local hardware store, and you can get 2 end caps, you can get a little bit of wire, and you can hook them up to a cell phone and tape it together, and that's basically what the product looks like. When they've said that they've found these pipe bombs. Mike?
Oh, he must have got dropped. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Okay, yeah, he got dropped. Hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
Technical difficulties. All right, hold on.
Oh, I'm making it easy. All right, everybody back. Like the gospel.
We dropped Mike. Shit.
It's good to have a drop the mic moment early,
Right?
Drop the mic. Boom.
With that, I definitely did get my fireball in the rock, so I'll cheer you guys if
nice.
you're still in the thought.
I'm gonna go grab a beer in a few minutes, but yeah, help loosen up the conversation. I hear you, man. Help loosen up the conversation.
Well, figure.
I should have grabbed a beer. I think I'm just gonna rock the being stoned.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I am, so we're good to go.
Definitely.
Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah, dude. It's I like drinking and doing these podcasts. Help loosen the conversation up a little bit. Not make them so tight.
Well, and it's good to be able to, do shit that people do when they're having conversations instead of shit like mainstream media.
I'm sitting at a desk in a suit.
Right. Well, even on YouTube, some people get so butthurt, because people say the F word or they're cussing, and it's like, dude, it's YouTube. Like, if you don't like the information, then again, go pound sand, go find another avenue. Like,
right.
The internet is still somewhat free that you can find whatever, research you like, or, people, I guess it goes back to, just kind of even getting comfortable with watching shit you don't like, and that's where you really get to see, especially with stuff with this bomb stuff, like, I look at a couple of the conservative, sites, and they're like, dude, those are all fake. None of those went off. They're not even real. They don't even have the postage on it, and then you watch the CNNs, and they're just like this whole rampant, like, full-on, map of where all the bombs were at and who they were, and you're just like, dude, that's fake news.
That
totally,
is fake
right
news.
Right in front of your face. So, we're at the whim of.
I'm not even a huge fan of Fox News, but like, or any major news outlet, But
they're all done.
They're all pretty much done. I mean, we're all seeing the truth now. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's trying to manipulate somebody through those basic platforms. They're all trying to manipulate people for their own agendas and what they want to try to accomplish. And I get scared. Like the Soros bomb supposedly made it all the way into his house.
Oh yeah.
If that was real, wouldn't somebody have been watching to detonate that? And like, we
Right.
fucking got it all the way in there. Why wouldn't they?
Right.
And that's just
Yeah.
the bizarre part. None of the bombs have gone off. Everybody got it. I saw a really funny meme earlier. It had Oprah Winfrey. You get a bomb, and you get a bomb, and you get a fake bomb. You know what I mean? Everybody gets a fake bomb.
Everybody gets a fake bomb.
Yeah, it's like,
But
yeah, man, it's fucking weird.
well, then who got the bombs? Also puts in that scratching head moment on. Well, wait a minute. Only Democrats, or people on the left side of the aisle got these. How come nobody on the right got any? We got a few people that, you know what I mean? You're just like, wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Like nobody on yeah.
You're trying to victimize the Democrats 2 weeks before an election because, we found some bombs that weren't really bombs. I mean, there's at least a half a dozen of, bomb experts and people that are on, again, a couple of the YouTube channels I watch, like the X22 Report and American, what is the name of that one? American Intelligence Media. They have a lot of these people come on their shows, and the people are just like, yeah, but if you're a bomb maker, you're really wanting the end result of the bomb to succeed, which is going off. You're not going to put a ISIS sticker on it, like labeling it, and then the guys that look at it, they're like, yeah, but you wouldn't have the wires like that, and then now you're finding out there's no explosive in the bomb, and then the clock that was on the front wasn't a timer clock, so how are you going to detonate it? There's just, when you put a little bit of common sense into experts instead of letting CNN and MSNBC analysts put their total op-ed and rhetoric and jargon so that you basically are like, dude, Ronald McDonald blew up a kid's school? Like, what the hell? And you're like, no, dude, you were watching CNN. And you're like, oh, well, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? I'm watching the news. And people, I guess that's a whole new outlook on the news. The news is not even indicative of bipartisan just fact-finding results. It's totally paid for, corrupted by, a lot of the people who are getting these bombs on the conservative, conspiracy theory outlook are the people that we suspect of doing these false flags in the first place. And so when they want to put blame on, the right or the conservatives are like, we wouldn't send you guys bombs. We want to see you hang from military tribunals. I mean, we've waited this long. We're not going to send you some fake bullshit bombs that aren't going to blow off to try to scare you. Like, that's retarded. That's what you guys do. That's the incitement of a lot of the violence that you're seeing from groups like Antifa or, a lot of the marches that are inciting. And those are all Soros-paid, Open Society Foundation propaganda, money chambers. And so it's like the caravan stuff, like
yeah, very convenient there.
Right. And I mean, of those people, should some of them and can some of them seek asylum? Okay, sure. But why wouldn't you seek asylum with the other 3 countries that you walked through to get to America? Was it that bad? Was it that much worse? Or, I mean, again, I'm not going to try to speak to the conditions of how these people live, but there's, cameras everywhere. There's documentation of them getting, paid handouts to join the caravan. And you're like, oh, okay. But
something very interesting happened to me the other day when I went to the gas station. There was more, and I was kind of like freaked out. I didn't even know if I wanted to go to the gas station, you know what I mean, after I'd seen this. But like, there's literally like 10 police SUVs at this gas station, like really close to my house. And it's a like a trucker gas depot kind of place. And basically, they had called in all these extra officers. Like, I basically overheard the conversations, is because the trucker wouldn't open up the back of the truck to let him. So I think it had something to do with the caravan, if you want me to be honest. It was like a cargo type, you know what I mean, type truck, not like a normal like a freighter, but like cargo container. And so I had seen this, and I'd overheard that like they'd eventually. They had called in the person who owned the company in order to, like, they were going to have to, like, get him involved in order to get this guy to open the container. It was crazy. I was like, whoa, there's something about this that just, it kind of sparked that whole caravan thought in my head. I didn't really wait around to conclusion, but I was like, wow, like,
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure that had something to do with it. Maybe freighting some illegals across, you know? You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, I don't know. I guess the really sad part, on a macro scale, is that technically you could let a lot of these people in, and there is enough to go around.
right.
But you get into, again, a lot of the fake money distribution and these lifelong politicians who have, again, no real accountability. So they've all got offshore accounts, and there's like, billions of dollars running through offshore accounts that the common man doesn't realize what they're used for. You see them in like mob movies, or what was The Firm, Tom Cruise and his buddy, they go to the Caymans and they have all the secret documents, and you're like, whoa, that's so cool, what are they doing? And they're like, oh yeah, they launder money there. And you're like,
Right.
oh, well, dude, I want, and it's like, it's just such a farcical nonsense of the game that we think that we're playing, that we're climbing up this hill, and every time we get a diamond, we're like, no, it's just a bigger piece of coal. And we got to just we got to keep chipping away at it and chipping away at it. But I think that's part of that awakening process, and using that drip protocol to, not necessarily get in arguments, but push the envelopes in social environments. It's okay to talk to people about this shit if you disagree. Like, I have a shirt. I have a shirt that I walk around with, and it has a big Q on it. And, if you're familiar with QAnon or,
yeah.
whatever that whole movement is. And I'm not, I don't necessarily, like, I'm a diehard QAnon guy, and I'm on there every day checking this shit out. But a lot of the stuff that, one of the big themes of that is future proofs past. And it's been well over a year that he's been posting. And if you go back and through, like, last year, December, January, February, and you're able to, read some of the codes, you're like, okay, there's a little bit of something here. And so I wear the shirt, and about a half a dozen people are like, Q? And I'm like, oh, but do you know Q? And it's just a social, it's just a social cue to open the dialogue. I'm like, you know what? I have no idea if Q is real. I don't necessarily think that Trump is connected to Q, but, whatever, it may end up that that's the case. But I do think that the military is playing a role in the supporting of the agenda of the president. And that's why we're not at war yet. And that's why, well, I guess I use that term loosely. I'm sure there's still, the Middle East stuff is not totally, dumb. So I'm not going to try to put my foot in my mouth. But as far as, the deception that is war, we're not in World War III, which a lot of people thought that happened. Yeah, totally. No doubt.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Let's try to stay
it almost
away.
looks like we could even have a civil war before we'd have another world war.
Yeah, I've seen a couple good cartoons on that. You know what I mean? Which button do you hit? Do you hit Civil War II or World War III? It's like this weird. I don't know. I can't really describe it. I'll probably post the cartoon in this, but it was hilarious. It was like the decisions we have right now. Civil War II or World War III, and it was a little more World War III back when we were having the little disputes with Kim Jong of North Korea a little while back. And that was looking a little more tense, and a little more tense over some certain issues with Russia at that point in time.
Right.
I think some of those things are inflammatory, though, when it comes to Russia and our actual...
Well, and look at the narrative there. When was the last time you heard Russia?
Right.
And I think in the last 2 weeks or so, you know how Mueller had indicted 13 Russians, and then... there was a couple of shell companies that were also indicted. I think it was a couple months earlier. One of those companies came to America and called Mueller's bluff and was like, hey, we didn't do any of this stuff, and we weren't the company that you say we were back then. And so now the judge basically called Mueller's bluff, because now that Mueller's the prosecuting attorney in this case and putting the pressure on, these guys are committing these crimes. And they came to Washington, D.C., and Mueller tried to back out of this whole process, being like, no, you know what, we didn't really serve them right, and we're not ready. And the judge was like, well, they're here. Why don't you go ahead and present your case, and then we'll go to discovery if, you have a valid point. Because then you have to, once you get to discovery, you got to start sharing evidence with both sides.
Yes.
And so Mueller's in this kind of state of twiddling his thumbs right now, going, so his shit's falling apart too. And I mean, you can indict all the Russians that you want. That doesn't mean that, they're going to just, Putin's going to go, again, let me put them on a plane. We'll have those guys over there right away for you.
Right.
But, again, that whole narrative is basically gone. Now it's, Even the Stormy Daniels thing, gone. You know, what else
Gone.
is just recycling? You know, it's gone. And now you're even seeing more backlash on Avenatti, you know, with him and his ethical conduct, you know, coming up with, because, I mean, one of his claims that he claims in the Kavanaugh thing is totally just total bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I even think the senators are looking at some ethical stuff too, but, you know, whatever. It'll be 2020 before we hear any of that shit.
Yeah, it'll be a
I mean,
long time before they get to hear any of that shit.
At least January. I'm going to try to pull up that executive order with the military tribunals on it. See if I can find that in the mix. But yeah, bunch of crazy shit. Oh yeah, you know what I did find out? I was looking about, you know, Federal Reserve stuff. Is that, you know, because Obama, he keeps coming out and saying that he wants to take credit for, you know, the economy numbers, and you know, they're inflated, and they're all fucked with, but at least, you know, Trump's using the same, you know, metrics as far as those go. So it's like, you know, so Obama keeps coming out and saying that he's, you know, the source of this big shit. And what I looked at is the Federal Reserve in almost 8 years didn't raise the interest rates on Obama at all. Like less than 1% his entire 8 years.
Yeah.
And they've already raised it 5 times on Trump in right now 2 years, I guess, depending on whatever you want to add, but almost 2 years. And it's like, I think it's like a little over 2.5%, almost 3%. And Trump's still hitting GDP of 4.2 or 4.4 or whatever it was last time. And in Obama's 8 years, he never hit a 4.
What do you think, Mike?
Was helping limit the amount of interest rates so that Obama could he even had a better opportunity to stimulate the economy and still couldn't do it. And the Federal Reserve is basically helping him. The Federal Reserve is 100% against Trump, and I have raising it, and they've even said they're going to raise it 3 more times in the next year. And Trump is still hitting 4s. And so it's like, you basically almost have to be a business moron to not see that the Federal Reserve is, you know, dictating monetary policy, and then they get the stock market involved, and you see the drop. There was a big drop last week, and everyone freaks out, and you know, now it's kind of steadily,
right, my money, oh no.
But it's going to happen. The whole thing has to crash, you know. So Trump needs to make sure that he's on the Fed, or at least the board of the Fed, to put, again, more conservative people to control the fiscal policy, so that they don't have to raise the rates, because as soon as they raise the rates, then they want to say that, no, now there's going to be inflation, and then all of a sudden they're going to need to ask for more money. And then you're going to see the 2008 bank thing, and it's happening across the board. I mean, car sales, mortgages, the whole thing is like, it's almost like different bubbles, you know, overlapping as they increase to be one giant, like, just debt bubble.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they got to wipe everybody out, take all the money, and then, you know, go back to work, peasants, you know. And you build back up, and it's just this whole, like, 7-8 year cycle all the time.
Yeah, but I do read a lot about this concept of this jubilee, and it's more common than, you know, again, than people want to realize, or than, again, that bankers and central bankers want you to know, is that, you know, it's just the push of a button. This whole thing is just farcical and nonsensical by any real imagination, that, you know, they get to have multiple, you know, receipts for the same commodity, and then, you know, also invest and never pay dividends. Like, it's you really just scratch your head on, like, what the hell, you know. But, you know, it's like, as I picked up on my Wikipedia, I just had a bunch of shit ready, so I looked up black magic.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's, you see a lot of traces in there, because, you know, you get the occultism, you get the secrecy, but you also get the hidden agenda of dark magic, black magic. It's not the common man perception of, you know, humanity first. It's this dark magic, you know.
Enslave them all and ruin everything.
And reap the benefits, right, you know, and we've mentioned it, you know, your commodity is the most valuable thing, or your labor. Your labor is, you know, worth more than anything, but I think we're at a precipice, too, of finding ways to organize, you know, again, and being able to do shit like this, and even just bullshitting about topics. I mean, this is a great avenue to bring up, you know. I mean, I pulled up a couple different websites that I look at, and just, you know, just taglines. And
if the internet stays at least this free, we have more freedom of the press than we've ever had, in a way, because we have platforms in which individuals that never would have had them before can take root in and build their own following and make people self-aware of these situations that are looming over us on a daily basis, that most people don't get to, before the internet, didn't really get to put things together. They didn't get to talk back and forth. They didn't get to, because you might be talking to somebody in Italy that fucking found something out. You might be talking to somebody in Germany that found something out. And we would have never had that connectedness before. So it's like a double-edged sword, but we get overwhelmed with all the extra noise at the same time too.
And it's so overwhelming because that noise is premeditated.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's almost like, when two scientists, they want to conduct an experiment, and it's like, well, what do we want to get out of it? They know ahead of time what they want. Now, the results may vary. They may have to deal with the fact that their hypothesis or whatever their agenda is wrong. At least as far as true scientists go. But even now, you're seeing different money be able to not only influence agendas, but use people, because we're stuck in this money cycle, as, pawns, because these elites, they just don't see people as pawns. Again, that's another thing I should look up, is just that term of chattel. It's not a word, you say cattle. You're like, no, I know what cattle is, it's the same kind of reference point, but, there's a term, and it's called chattel. And it's maybe human in form and eternity and spirituality, but again, that's part of the story that they're not telling us. The people who may be, or even witchcraftery or whatever secret occultism that they're using, they know how to manipulate the box so that we don't think that we're more than human, or that our powers or that our capabilities are more than what they really are. They've got that down. They know how to mentally kind of subjugate us with distraction. And look at it. It's so easy to manipulate, the narrative that, again, we could take an hour and just go find a bunch of clips on just Obama, on just immigration, and listen to him say that it's illegal and we can't let people in and this and that, and they have to go back, and everybody's ranting and roaring. But the same words come out of, Trump's voice that, the status quo hates. You get this, you take that step back and you're on the truth side. You're like, wait a minute, the truth is just this. Is Trump a douche? Maybe. Is he, does he use a lot of rhetoric? Is he 100% right? No. But if you look at some of the stuff he's doing, the people that need to get out of power, like the Hillary Clintons, like Obama is, I guess he could run for another spot, but run. Don't be that guy, that one president who's going to keep sticking his neck out and doing stuff that no other president has ever really done, to, again, just keep the status quo. You guys look like sore losers. And even the Democratic Party is coming out and, trying to keep Hillary, on the rail, but she's already kind of out there going, oh, yeah, I'm going to, do it again. And, there's already rumors that she's going to run in 2020. And it's just time to change the guard. And even with Trump, maybe, somebody comes along in 2020 and really ignites that political base, or maybe we go back to common law, in which case we wouldn't need a businessman. We can actually have a king or a queen, for that matter, and be able to have a country back, rather than it being all business all the time. But how do you stop? You can't stop that momentum as far as global business goes, but how do you put the people of, just for, again, using the black magic analogy, the page talks about, obviously, the opposite of that is white magic. And I'm not talking about black or white people. I'm talking about black or white magic. So, I'm dead serious, because it's so sensitive. And again, this race thing is it's so not embraced on, you know what, you're white, you're brown, I'm black, or, we all have to come together. But it's not being celebrated. It's still being used as this, double-edged finger pointing on, no, you're racist. No, you're racist. Like, no, I'm white and you're black. Let's hug and fucking be gray. Just to kind of, again, use bullshit terminology, but we have to start finding ways and avenues to bring the platform up to celebrating what our commonalities are, instead of using it as, divisiveness. Because, like you mentioned something, about the Civil War and the World War. The funny thing about both of those concepts is that the people at the top of that pyramid manipulating those wars are the same people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So civilly, we have to we have to build those bridges. Like, they're trying to pin us together. And now we just have to be able to talk about who they are, formulate it in a sentence that you might get a reaction that wouldn't be like, no bullshit, I didn't see that on CNN. And I hate to keep using CNN, but it's kind of like the poke of fake media. So I'm just going to keep saying CNN, but it's all mainstream media, all of it. And so, again, that's the beauty of finding, because I remember a lot of times when I was growing up, my grandparents, they'd watch the news, and when, as a kid, they'd be like, well, why do you like so-and-so? And you're like, well, because they're just truthful, and you don't see their opinion in the reporting of the news that was supposedly factual. And even then, I guess you can go back and look at it, but that was what those people liked in news anchors, and now you're seeing everyday citizens who are just after the truth. We just want the truth. Are some people on the good side bad? Yeah, okay, well then they should go to jail too. If you have Russian collusion information on Trump, then let's see it. Like, he should go to jail. You know what I mean? Like, it's about it being Trump, but fortunately Trump had a celebrity persona already, so it's easy to stigmatize that guy. It could have been Alec Baldwin for all we know. You know what I mean? They could have picked him. He could have been the president, and everyone would be bashing the shit out of Alec Baldwin. It wouldn't have mattered who it was. But that's where that, I guess propaganda machine comes into play, because they're keeping them focused on the anonymity of they. So it's just this perpetual, well, they do this and they do that. Well, you know what? We are putting our foot down, and we know who they are. Now, how do we at least, try to pick the Achilles, how do we prick the Achilles heel of the mainstream media and expose them as, they are the enemy of the people, but the people just don't know it. We're like, nah, that's media, man. They're good.
I mean, there's been CIA involved in media for generations now. One of the biggest arguments I've ever made is like, why the fuck is Anderson Cooper work at CNN? The guy had, on many levels, think about this, he's the heir to the Vanderbilt fortune. That means he's worth so much money, it's indescribable. You know what I mean? So he doesn't need to work. All right. He has deep ties to Mockingbird and CIA plant. You know what I mean?
Well, his mother.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of pictures that were on that Q had actually posted of his mother with a picture of two kids on a bed. I don't know for sure if it was him or not, but it's her sitting on this bed, and above the bed is this big, all this just total symbolism, occultic symbolism and, satanic shit. And you just have to scratch your head. You're just like, who does this? Who does this stuff? And I mean, I guess the child trafficking stuff, I don't know who knows. Maybe it'll never come out. I mean, never, I don't think to the degree that it's actually happening, because even, I mean, I'm not a secular religionist person, so I don't necessarily have a diehard belief for my, this religion. But if I was a diehard Catholic, again, I would be kind of like banging on somebody's doors, like, why the hell does it keep coming out that all of these priests are pedophiles? Like, how is this possible? I mean, I don't know the Catholic religion, so I don't understand. But the children are the holy aspect of the planet on all levels. Like, why? And I mean, I don't know. I guess in some contexts you can see a sacrifice to a god. Again, if you're under that dying belief, but why would it have to be a child? I mean, and I don't know. I mean, I haven't researched that enough to get that aspect on, loving a god that much. But if a god who is going to be, non-material in essence, and you have to foundationally have a faith for it, and you are in his ultimate praise, then basically you have to live like an ant. Like, he could squish me at any moment. Why would I be vengeful, or why would I commit other incidences of death when ultimately he could just sacrifice me himself? I should be in an ultimately praiseful environment to try to praise that source, or God, to be able to manifest and create life through positivity. I don't know. That's just me, being a little more philosophical than normal, I guess. But I don't understand a lot of that stuff. But maybe it comes from that Luciferianism. Who knows?
What's weird is there's the story of Cain and Abel in the Bible, right? Well, in the story of Cain and Abel, Abel raised all the animals, all right, and Cain tended to all the fields, all right. So when it came time to sacrifice, Abel sacrificed from the he sacrificed from the animals. You know what I mean? He sacrificed from the like so much percentage of his animals he gave up to the Lord. When it came time for Cain to sacrifice, he gave up a certain percentage of all his crops, but the crops weren't good enough. Okay.
According to God.
According to God. Okay. And then what he did was and you got to think about this. He kills his brother, right? He didn't kill his brother completely out of spite. He sacrificed him to God. So think about that. He killed his brother. He killed him, sacrificed him to God. What was the one thing he could give that was beyond any of the plants or animals, given so far? His brother. And so when he was cursed to be immortal unless someone killed him. And if they were killed, if somebody brought harm among Cain, they would receive 7 times that harm done to them. That's what he was cursed with.
Yeah, man.
Think of how deep that is.
Heavy.
So maybe it goes back to the fact that children are the closest thing. I mean, this may be in some evil fucking, religious twist that they think that sacrificing the youth is the closest thing they can get to sacrificing their own kin. Because you got to think his curse wasn't even that much of it was a curse. He was cast out and everything else, but he was cast out to live forever in a weird thought and twist of fate.
I mean, it's weird. I mean, I don't know. If I was a king or of that sort, I think that for me it would just be self-sacrifice. Then it would get to the point that if you were a king of this tribe and maybe you lived a long life, or you would be able to sacrifice that wisdom and give that knowledge. Yeah. Almost an acknowledgement to source. Because I mean, again, it's in philosophical terms, a lot of the papers or books and stuff like that these guys they write. It's almost like God is a self-glorifying God, and it almost has a negative connotation when you think about it. Like, oh, you rat bastard, you just want to self-glorify. Well, again, the human experience is still indicative of the human being, and even though Source creates those human beings, it's not a human being in and of itself. So it lives vicariously through us, through this human experience. So if I've lived a good life, I'd be able to self-sacrifice myself, almost like Eskimos, like they just kind of walk their elders out and, they don't really see them no more, or, whatever. I mean, it's just an Eskimo practice. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of the symbolism on crazy. Why. That's cool. Like a lot of the old people, or they build them a igloo way out in the middle of nowhere, and it's kind of just like, all right, well, we love it. But, I don't know. Like I said, I'm sure I'm missing a lot of the traditional aspects of why that's important, but
it's sacrifice to polar bears.
Why sacrifice a little baby? The baby has no. I guess it's the most purest form, though. I guess, but I guess
the most potential.
Yeah, most potential, for sure, most innocent. But I guess that goes with God sacrificing His only begotten Son.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that's tied to that, but I don't know. I mean, I wish we could. There's a lot of skepticism about the Bible. People want to take it literal. People want to use the analogies and see a lot of the symbolism. I would love to just, not be a lazy ass, learn how to speak Hebrew and read an actual Bible. That's where I think, for me, there's so much opportunity to, is there an actual purest form of that book? And that's one book that I do read a lot about on YouTube and stuff like that, is the Book of Enoch.
Yeah.
And then when you read other books and you're like, well, wait a minute, who was in charge of mutilating the Bible in the first place? You're telling me that this book has, in the Old Testament and the New Testament, but there's like 10 or 12, or I don't know exactly how many, but there's a half a dozen books at least that were originally in the Bible that somebody took out of the Bible. And so...
Yeah. Somebody got to make that decision.
Right. Somebody got to make that decision.
Yeah.
And in this day of life, you know, we're taught to respect that authority, but now we're almost taught to do it blindly, you know, you got to trust your teachers, and you got to listen to them, and, you know, you got to listen to this guy and this guy and this guy and everybody you're listening to, but you grow up and then you're like, but y'all are full of shit. Like, I understand that, you know, I have to be accountable for my actions, but in the real world, y'all just keep making up bullshit laws so you really don't have to be accountable for your actions. And that's where I think a lot of this, you know, walk away movement, or even just people being more politically motivated, or, you know, paying more attention to even just, you know, disinformation campaigns or fake news, or questioning the status quo, or even, you know, even getting out there and protesting for the PCAST. You know, I mean, I guess you're still doing something. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying that they're wrong in their efforts, but there's something that we're missing as a species where, I guess, I don't know, the money still manipulates all of your natural tendencies, because we're using an external object to, you know, run our internal psyches, and I think we're missing some of the nature, because there's no, you know, and I think we've hit on it before, there's no real energy transfer through, you know, a monetary system. And I mean, who really even knows how that works? But, you know, energy's transformed and transfused and transmuted on all different levels, and we're missing how that, I guess, is able to bypass a lot of the money system. You know, we don't really need money, but
but they say we do.
What's that?
But they say we do.
Yeah, and you know, and that's, you know, I'm almost pretty positive on this. They create these words like communities and societies, and, you know, and again, it's like baseball analytics, man. They have the statistical data to say, you know what, just put that narrative in the media and watch them run with it. This narrative will give us 4 weeks. This Russian narrative gave us almost 2 years. We got a little bit extra out of that one. Thanks, you guys.
You remember the missing planes? The missing planes in Asia? That became like 42 weeks of just like, and the plane's still missing. We don't know where the plane is. Still drawing for the planes. Like, everything in the world is going on, and they're just like, plane's missing. Still missing. Disappeared. Can't find the plane.
Yeah. I mean, same with 9/11. I mean, all that.
That was years.
I mean, and it's funny because, well, it's funny. I just did it twice, but I keep saying that it's funny, but it's not really funny. But to me, it's funny when you start doing this research, how organized, or what an organization would need to do to pull this off. You know, across mainstream media, into the politics, into the money supply, into the power structure, into the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Central Intelligence Agency, the Council on Foreign Relations, the World Health, you know, there's all these big, giant corporations that we just have this, and it's not even intuitive, because we're starting to go against that counterproductiveness of what these organizations do for us. We're starting to go, what the hell, dude? Like, there's more death. People are dying of cancer. Our health system sucks. The school system sucks. Like, and we're, I guess, at a crossroads, because it's not in the 1800s or the 1700s where we can just go get up a bunch of guns and start shooting people up. You know, like, militaries are too big. There's too much governing going on. But how do we, again, synthesize that organization to get our voices heard? You know, can we coordinate boycotts? Can we coordinate, you know, million-man marches? You know, could you imagine if we showed up to the White House with a couple million people? You know, that would be almost, how do you know, I mean, I don't even think Anonymous can get that. I mean, but maybe that, you know, start pumping that out right before, 2 weeks before the election, is V for Vendetta. I'm just going to start posting that everywhere.
Yes.
And that movie, I guess, is based on some sort of truth. And again, I'm in, you know, no position to tell anyone to blow up anything, but
yeah, Guy Fawkes Rebellion, that was real. That really did happen.
Yeah, okay.
Back in the 1800s.
Right? Okay.
The movie is based on the graphic novel by Alan Moore in Great Britain, but it very closely ties like, you look at where the state is going now. You look at, they've already taken guns from many, many countries. They've already kind of started shutting down the system. And you think about it, like, that whole movie is based upon the graphic novel is based upon a fictional false flag attack that allowed the government to just basically take everything, from the people. And then the people trying to fight back against their government. And that's kind of where we're at now. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to say 9/11 wasn't an inside job because, let's be honest, fuel can't burn hot enough. The fuel couldn't have burned hot enough to cut down the buildings, in my opinion. $2 trillion that week was found missing from the federal government. Stolen from the American people.
Yeah.
Stolen from the American people. The evidence was kept in Building 7. Building 7 was never hit by a plane.
Nope. But it fell down a few
there
hours
was
later.
No plane wreckage.
Yeah, it fell down
at the Pentagon.
Like magic, fell down. Like somebody was just like, it's gonna fall. Like they sent in somebody with witchcraft or something. They're like, fall. You know what I mean? It's probably already tied up with thermite. They already had the thing rigged to explode. It was gonna go down anyway.
Well, and they have a really good picture of one of the oversights after some of the buildings had fell, and you see the stairway columns that have all been cut at the diagonals.
Yeah.
Because in the 30-second clip before that, you have the bomb technician telling you how they go in and do this to buildings. And then the next clip is the result of the building. You're like, hey, wait a minute, I just saw that. That guy just said, whoa. And then, the back history of, like, all the elevator shafts were closed, like, the whole month before for repairs. Like, I guess it's indicative of how we trust the government. I don't know. And I guess now that's where I'm learning about, this, even just the concept of the left and the right. Democrats, they want big government, so that they can run all of these big agencies for us. But it's almost like a bad pyramid scam, like when you're like, oh, you're just going to make money off of me. And the guy's like, yeah, I am going to make money off of you. But if you sit down with me, I'm going to show you exactly how much money I'm making off of you. And I'm going to show you how to get my job. Versus it being the opposite, where we're trying to all bootstrap each other. And I'm not saying that that's exactly what the Republicans are, but that's just kind of on a tangent. But, the Republicans, small government, let the people run all of the agencies ourselves so that we can self-govern. And this government thing can kind of just be on the outskirts, so that we can, funnel the money, or whatever, disperse the federal funds. And y'all can just have this thing and you can do it however you want. That's kind of more of how I'm leaning now as far as, like, my rational logic goes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm on this Republican agenda, but
I kind of look at it like this: is that, like, you have one, and it's all controlled by different sets of billionaires. Like, let's be honest.
Right. No, totally.
The big government agenda, really kind of, the thought process to me is that if you had more government employees, you would know, every individual person would know more of them, and so you'd grow to trust your government more because you automatically already knew somebody who worked for the government.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Sure.
But like the control aspect of it. Because the Democrats, they want everything to look nice. You know what I mean? They don't ever want to talk about the tragedies of, making a welfare state and all the other things and how much freedom you'll actually lose. They don't ever want to talk about that. You're going to lose a lot of freedom, a ton of freedom. But the other side of it is a bunch of big businessmen that all want things pretty much run to where their businesses can flourish and have more money, but at the cost of certain things that could harm the environment or harm other people. And it's just a different it's a different control method, but it doesn't look like it's very controlling because it has less government. They can make the government itself the bad guy, and then no one will look at them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that makes sense in our society because, again, that in this society we've been programmed to not participate in government.
Yes.
You know, you're not. You know, they're not even in the Boy Scouts. You know, you're not even given any kind of like civil. I mean, not necessarily civil, but like a civics course. You know, or any kind of civics course on. You know, and I'm not saying that everybody should, but there should be an aspect of if you want to, you know, if you want to maintain a clean kitchen, you got to do the dishes. You know, I mean, if we want to. If we want to maintain, you know, having agencies in the government be audited, you know, then we have to step up and we have to crush the Federal Reserve because, again, it's an agency that cannot be audited. And this is the agency that literally prints just like in fake money. So we're not even using our brains going, wait a minute, the agency that prints the fake money isn't even elected, they're appointed, and they don't even have to be audited by the actual IRS. Like, why would I pay the IRS a dime? They're not even, you know, I mean, again, and you get in this circle of conundrums like, well, wait a minute, who the hell's running this thing?
Right. Who is the shadow government that runs the government?
Right. Yeah, and I mean, you said the double B word, you know, the Billionaires Boy Club, the BBC. I mean, and that's fine and dandy, you know, because I guess a couple of things, I guess, I don't know, I have to keep going and seeing the hierarchies of who's left, but you're starting to hear names like Alexander Soros. So now you're seeing Soros' son come on the scene. You're seeing a couple of the other, you're seeing a couple of the other Rothschild kids, you know, and I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but you're going to see this next generation of these, you know, of the 13 richest families come into play. And these, like you said, these I think are the people that we really need to start focusing on because, you know, how do you, and again, how do the peons, how do the peasants, you know, stomp the castle and we can't even swim across the moat? You know, I mean, how does that happen? How do we, and I'm not saying, you know, take out a bunch of billionaires because it's the central banking system, you know, I mean, that's going to expose them in the long run. So, but this new, I think, generational of kids, you know, we have to be more accountable to holding them to the fire so that, you know, we can start demanding, you know, we can demand that y'all go, you know, audit the Federal Reserve. It's not a matter of, you know, the Federal Reserve being untouchable. It's a matter of if we have to, we need to change the law so that the Federal Reserve is accountable to the people. And especially if you're printing fake money, then again, print us all some. You know what I mean? Like
universal income.
Right?
Give everybody $2,000 a month.
I mean, and they could, you know, if that's the case, I mean, I don't know.
That's how you shut the people up. You give them some money.
Mm-hmm.
You distract them.
Yeah.
Go buy some toys.
Right? But I think that, you know, the toys of the Billionaire Boys Club, those are media outlets. You know, they just play such a different game, you know, that some people are like, what? You know, there's no way that 6 people could own all of the media outlets. And it's like, well, not only is there a way, I could actually show you through the internet the way that they did it. And then people start to get a different perspective of who they are. You know, these people that you, especially in the personal development field, you know, you get into guys like Napoleon Hill, who's a genius. You know, like the guy is a total personal development genius. But he studied guys like Carnegie and Rockefeller and Morgan and these guys who had different, you know, the oil and the steel and the gas. You know, we all know who these guys are, but they're idolized in a certain way. And to a certain degree, you know, I guess they are to be idolized in a certain way as far as putting, you know, certain aspects of, you know, steel and oil and gas on the map. But maybe it's a bigger conflict again with, you know, the capitalism. At what point does it have to be naturalistic as well? Do we really have to start caring about our environment and our people? Or are we just going to continue to have mass extinction events so that the Billionaires Boy Club can continue to run their model of fiat currency? Because that's what they're going to keep doing. I mean,
build, cut. Build, cut.
Blow it up. Yeah. And, I mean, so if that's the macro picture, how do you kind of collectively stick the wrench in there?
Thinking of that, the traditional Republican model, it makes more sense why their model is like entrepreneurship, because in order for them to build something, like they have to get people to start new businesses in order to blow them up. and take all the assets.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
On a constant, on a constant scale. And I don't know where I was exactly going with this.
Well, I mean, I think it is indicative of a mindset, because the mindset on that model is I can always rebuild it, even
right.
if it fails, I can always, if I have that entrepreneurial mindset and I'm willing to do the work, it's work, it's a work mentality versus, like you said, on the left, you've got the welfare state where you've got Big Brother in your ear saying, no, you don't have to do it as hard. We'll provide it for you. We just need your labor, and we'll give you this minimum wage, and we'll take care of all of it for you, man. You can get the crappiest doctor, the crappiest dentist, you can get the crappiest healthcare, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
You get the crappiest workman's comp, but, they're not telling you that it's crappiest. That's just what gets you on that welfare state. And, there's people, like my mom who used that to the tilt and was like, well, hell yeah, bitches, if you think that you're going to, tell me that I'm going to get this for my children, I'm going to do it. So is there people who do benefit off of the welfare state? Absolutely. But on a whole, the state was never, ever going to help my mom get a job, to get off of the welfare state.
No.
And then there's people in there that are going to milk that mentality, who know that the system is fraudulent, and who can say, shit, dude, now I can rest on my laurels, but I can't bitch about the outcomes. Because when you're in those moments, especially if you're from a lower, economic society and you're not, well off, then you feel trapped. And you feel like there's nothing that, and you feel like there's nothing that you can do.
There's the scary version of the welfare state, I think, is probably in the South. And I've seen this more in the South than anywhere else across the country, is that you will run into tons of people, and I'm not going to say tons, it's not like everybody does this, but you'll get people that are on SSI, Social Security, for injury out here. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll work for cash or start another company in a family member's name.
Right.
And then they'll be living off Social Security, getting you know what I mean, health insurance and everything else, and then still working because they're not really that injured.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a way to dip into the rest of our money, you know what I mean, and just take that extra scoop out of the, get a free dip, you know what I mean, get a free little, and
tax-free cookie.
Yeah, tax-free cookie every month. You can
it's not really tax-free though.
You're right. Yeah, we're paying that. Tax-free for them.
Yeah. I've always found that, and I didn't really see it that much when I used to, when I worked construction up north. I really wouldn't see that often. But man, you come to the South and it's like I live in a small town, and I could tell you there's a bunch, just right. I live in a town of 500 people, and I can think of a bunch that that's exactly what they do. You know what I mean? And they live off the system that way, and they get away with it really well. You know what I mean? But they work all the time. They work as much as anybody else to get the free cookie money.
Yeah, and there's got to be a point at even with when growing up as kids, when the state basically would send the checks on the 1st and 15th, especially around Christmas time, when family members would they'd help out, and they'd send Christmas gifts and this and that. And if my mom didn't report that money, the Christmas gift,
of course,
she would get penalized from the state.
Yes.
Come January or February. And so you see that after a while of being in the welfare state, you get to a point where even then it gets fishy, and now you're vindictive against the actual, state that created you.
They don't offer a good way to get off of it. You know what I mean? They don't give you a good way to. Once you're on it, they penalize, unless you turned around with a $40,000, $50,000, a year job, you couldn't just pick up and just leave the welfare state. You couldn't gradually you couldn't take a job at a gas station part-time until you made enough money, to afford, maybe babysitting for the kids, and then go and try to work a better job. you could never do that. You'd get penalized too much and never make it off.
Yeah, same with unemployment.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, at least they're somewhat flexible so that you can still collect some benefits as long as you're reporting your part-time income. Then they'll prorate it as you kind of get back on your feet. That's what happened to me when I was on unemployment for a couple months. But I mean, at least there's that opportunity. But at the same time, I mean, I think unemployment you paid into, right? Well, same with Social Security or SSI, right? You're paying into these programs.
Yeah, we all pay.
So I mean, and that's another thing is that, you know, all these individual accounts, you know, like a Social Security account or SSI account or all these supposedly itemized accounts that are yours that you pay into, well, how come you're not able to go sit down with a financial advisor when you're 25? You know, you've probably been paying in there for 7-8 years and able to invest some of that fucking money. Like, the banks are doing it, the corporations are doing it, and now we're finding out that the fucking politicians are doing it. Like, these politicians are so invested in some of these major corporations. Like, there was a judge, I won't do it now, but there was this judge who was he was literally presiding over one of the Facebook cases and dismissed the case. And when they started doing the research, the judge had stock in Facebook. It's like, dude, like, you've got to be out of your mind. You have, like, and again, there's, who is the Department of Justice going to oversee that? I mean, we can't even get Rod Rosenstein fired. Like, Jeff Sessions has got his head of the desk, but who knows? How are you going to get those guys? If the Department of
Justice, devil weed.
Yeah, right. Going after the devil weed. You know, if the Department of Justice can't even.
Fucking Keebler Elf himself. Jeff Sessions, go fuck yourself, you piece of shit.
I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, but I don't know. Hopefully, you know, we're just patient enough so that we can see some of the cards fall. I think it's January 1st, 2019.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, it's so crazy. Like, marijuana is almost being legalized everywhere now in the United States. It's on the ballot in Missouri. It's on the ballot I think next session it's on the ballot in Tennessee. It's on the, you know, it's already been passed a ton of places. If these people don't get their head out of their ass, the only way that we're going to get out of national debt is probably legalization of marijuana.
I mean, they really could, you know, and the industrialization of hemp.
Yes.
Because, I mean, but a lot of that, too, I think, it's even dependent on global stuff because the petro, you know, as long as the petrodollar still really runs the global oil distribution market, then that's, you know, it's kind of a big deal. A lot of those countries are trying to get away from it, but even the Chinese yuan is kind of losing a lot of its steam, and, you know, it's like, I guess, not as gold-backed as they think, so it's kind of losing some of their steam. But
I heard that after Canada legalized, they've basically already gotten out of national debt.
Canada?
Already. Yeah, already. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're already, like, basically out of national debt within, like, days. Or, like, you know what I mean? It's only been, like, days, a month. You know what I mean? It hasn't been very long since they legalized. But they're bringing in so much tax dollars on marijuana now, it's just fucking ridiculous on a national scale.
I mean, I even went to one in Long Beach where they were, you know, charging the tax, you know, and it's kind of cool because you're like, hey, you know, I don't mind paying tax, they're legit, right? And they're like, yeah, we have a business operating license and all this stuff, and you're like, okie dokie, like that's, you know, you're not the neighborhood drug dealer trying to change your shop every 2 days because you got raided because you don't want to pay a little bit of state tax. It's like,
yeah,
we all know what people are paying for this, you know, medicinal herb. We know you're making a couple of bucks. Like, pay your freaking taxes, you moron. Like,
yeah, don't fuck yourself.
At least state taxes, at least state and local. I mean, shit, just stay operating. Federal income tax, I guess, is a whole other story.
Yeah. So you know that job you do that you hate, you don't get paid enough at it? Yeah, we're going to have to get some of that.
I mean, yeah.
Bullshit.
Right? They've got it down.
Yeah. They'll,
you know, we're getting involved. We're getting activated. November should be good. We got, what's the date? 26th? So after this election, we should almost do like a post-election show, you know, and just see how the map turned out, you know, just to, and I mean, not so much for all the little individual races, but again, just to see if this and I'm not even going to call it Trump phenomenon, because it's not about Trump. It's about the masses of Americans who are waking up to the status quo shit not being what it's supposed to be. You know, it's not open and free. It's calculated and meditated, and you guys are, you know, stacking the cards. But
look what they did to Roseanne.
Right.
I mean, look at that. Well, and yeah, because there was a good comparison with somebody that had almost done the same thing as her, but to somebody on the right, and they were like praised for it. I want to say like this journalist that was gotten hired by the Washington Post on Twitter. She's like super racist lady, and just gets away with murder. But I mean, that's a easy search too. There's about, I think actually, on one of my sites, there's a $100 billion lawsuit right now against. So 100 billion class action lawsuit could be filed against Google. Alphabet's Google being sued for censoring conservative content as corporate policy. This is on stateofthenation2012.com.
Oh, wow.
And when you get into the basis of what they were censored for, you're not going to believe it. It's all pedogate. It's all pedogate and Pizzagate.
Really?
So this site, State of the Union 2012, published an original content article of their own, and then Google cited them for something called scraping, which is basically when a site uses information from another site and posts it on their original site as their own content. And so there's this whole article on here on how the website is like, wait a minute, that's our original content. You can't censor us for using our own content, you moron. And then the whole rest of the article about how the content is Pizzagate and Pedogate. And you're like, oh, snap. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, they did everything they could to fucking get rid of that Pizzagate, Pedogate fucking shit as fast as they fucking could. They tried to bury it in fucking everything. It's tearing down web, that's another thing, if they can censor Google and what we're able to see through our search history, what we're able to find on the internet, I mean, that's a huge, almost makes you wish that Yahoo was better.
Yeah, right.
Yahoo sucks.
Well, you're going to see, I mean, and Google's already doing it. They just moved the big hub to China, and you're going to see as more of these Facebook and big unregulated, public companies, start to get broken up for Sherman antitrust, and even Zuckerberg came out and said that they're not going to be able to be good monitors of the First Amendment. So some shit's going to change, and they're either all going to move their hubs so that they can operate in, the Cayman Islands and places like China. And I know I had mentioned that company Alibaba to James. These companies they're filing American Security and Exchange filings, but they're all based out of China, and a lot of their legal jargon basically just opening the floodgate to American investors because there's no retribution. It's almost like being in the senior executive service. You have a job that you can't be fired because you are unfireable. It's part of being in the senior executive service, which again is part of the reason why Sessions and Rosenstein haven't been fired. But it's funny how you mentioned a little bit back about the witches and stuff. It's crazy to start pointing out some of these government marriages too. There's like 3 or 4 really big government. I mean, obviously you got Bill and Hillary.
Yeah.
Right.
Not so much Barack and Michelle, but Michelle could become a player in the next election. We'll see. But Rod Rosenstein, his wife, she's a major attorney for, I want to say either the FBI or the CIA. I think her name's Lisa Barsumian. They're like a couple pair. Bruce and Nellie Orr. They're the couple where Nellie Orr worked for Fusion GPS and was leaking the Steele dossier documents to Bruce Orr, who was the number 4 in charge at the Department of Justice.
Wow.
And then Peter Strzok and his wife, I got to find out where her role is, but he's kind of out of the narrative right now, so I kind of stopped doing research on him. But there's 5 right there, and then I think there's 2 more that I'm forgetting. But what I'm getting at is I think that a lot of these women are really into witchcraft, and I know that's way off. And again, next time I think.
It makes a lot of sense. There's a
lot of
ex-CIA agent talking about it.
Yeah.
His name's Kevin Shipp.
Yeah. He's all over that.
Yeah, I reached out to him the other day. I haven't heard anything back yet, but I'm going to try to get him involved. Maybe we can get a four-way. Yeah, four-way. But I reached out to him the other day, and he's like, he thinks that a lot of this stuff, and he was like in the CIA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was the fucking protector of the director of the CIA at one point in time, like directly. And so
I watched a lot of his videos.
So yeah, I mean, just all the things that he thinks, like the Luciferianism and like all these blood cults, and he thinks it's all fucking, it's all up and up, and you got to think they already unveiled almost all of it in fucking England. I imagine they're just like, oh, gotta keep this quiet, not say anything about it, but it's all out there,
Yeah, and it's it's literally hidden in plain sight.
Yeah. James, you watched you sent me a video the other day on a guy kind of detailing the homes in parts of Europe that were connected to probable blood cults, Satan cults.
Yeah, there's something about I'll have to pull it up. Hold on a second. But essentially this guy was able to tie a lot of the kids that went missing in Europe from orphanages to these 3 castles that it's kind of in the corner of Switzerland, France, and I believe it's Luxembourg. And essentially they have like this weird triangle. They called it the Satanic Triangle. You should check it out. We'll post the link whenever we upload this, but it was really interesting, and you could kind of sense the vibe that some really freaky, weird shit went down. And he starts going on into the history of like these people, and apparently this guy had been following this group of people that lives there for, it had to be something like 15 or 20 years. Like he's been on it for a long time, like hiking through the Alps and spying on them and shit, and trying not to get noticed. It's pretty weird, but you could definitely get a vibe that something is amuck there. And they were basically, he was starting to like triangulate, like, okay, this orphanage here suddenly had this many kids missing at such and such date, which just so happens to be right in the path line of, the roads leading to and from these castles, because they're literally on the sides of mountains in the middle of nowhere. So it's kind of like a few too many coincidences.
I watched about 10 or 15 minutes of it, and it's funny because he points out the symbolism, and the symbols that are on top of the buildings. And it's just such an aspect, I think, that our normative consciousness, doesn't see initially until you start doing some of this research. And I guess that's one thing about religion that I never really understood was you have to not only believe this way and do what, this way says, but you're not really allowed to go out and research the other ones.
Right,
no.
Right.
That's forbidden.
You know what I mean? And when you start to open that, whether it's even just from the Sumerian tablets, you have, the Adam and Eve story. You can get into the Garden of Eden, even some of the Cain and Abel stuff.
You can even get into basically the Great Flood.
Yeah.
It ties into the Great Flood,
And that's where I think you see it in the Torah, the Quran, and some of the other, Muhammad and stuff like that. And that's where I think you really start to scratch your head on. You start to see more commonalities. And I'm not saying that all of those different gods don't exist. I'm actually probably saying that not only do they all exist, they could all actually even be the same one.
Right.
But again,
I kind of think the same way, that is the most likely outcome.
Right. And I mean, I don't know. I guess we're going to continue to see, but it really just begs a lot of the questions, because the more that you get into some of the black magic stuff, or why was that the stigmatization? How come maybe it wasn't flipped? And obviously we got to keep going back and trying to get different perspective of those time periods, because we're not even teaching really 1776. I mean, we teach you the American Revolution and the starting of our country, but when you get into after the revolution in 76 happened, the United States was resource depleted. It wasn't like this booming, bustling country all of a sudden. I mean, we were on our heels for almost 100 years, if not still to this day, infiltrated by British agents or agents of the crown, and I guarantee it.
There's no proof that like we're not even just still connected to the British Empire. In a lot of ways.
I mean, if you like that train of thought, then definitely check out the American intelligence media, because they're all up on it. They're all up on the Privy Council, all of these people that were coordinating with Halper and the British, CIA, Steele guy, like all of the spies that were involved were all basically English. Yeah. And that's where you're seeing the lag on the declassify of a lot of the FISA court stuff, is because if Trump just goes ahead and exposes all of these people, then it's going to come out to the world that Britain was highly involved in trying to overthrow Donald Trump's presidency. So, I mean,
wow,
you can
absolutely.
All you got to do is I can't remember the
a lot
name.
of the contention's coming from NATO, because he basically called it out. We're paying for 70% of the budget or something crazy like that.
Well, supposedly that's where all your tax revenue goes. Almost 70% of your tax revenue is actually a donation to the Queen of England, because we're still really owned by the Bank of London. I mean, the bankers that came in and did the whole bailout in 1913 and then 33, they're the ones that own these contracts. The Bank of London is basically the Bank of Rothschild, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
When he got to dupe them all during the Napoleonic War, when they got to dupe all the Brits during the Napoleonic War. Pretty smooth move.
What I did find out, what I have been researching, which I think is fascinating but kind of scary too, is this whole, during that, 1920s, 30 period, you're getting this technocratic movement too. The technocrats are all of these tech giants.
Yeah.
And like you said, this whole data grab where, they're making money on the information, but they are literally trying to compile your profile so that they can upload your dead ass into an artificial intelligence platform and continue the manipulation of your strawman, so that they can continue to commoditize your dead soul and then put you into an artificial intelligence platform so they can continue to get labor out of a machine that is connected to your social security number.
That's fucking
That's
deep.
fucking crazy. That's fucking nuts.
Wait, so am I understanding this correctly? They're trying to, you drop dead. They're trying to upload your consciousness into a false reality. Gee, that doesn't sound anything like what's going on right now. I mean, if they could program all that, wouldn't it be really easy for them to put some kind of filter switch into the system to make sure we weren't too aware of how much bullshit's going on?
My only answer to that is the same as the architect told Neo. He's like, we've done this 6 times before.
Wow.
I mean, and that's where even Neo is like, well, screw you. Love trumps all of your efforts. And love does trump all of the effort. And I'm not using that, punly, but love is the frequency. And even Neo knows that no matter, he even chooses the door, and the guy's like, dude, I just told you the answer. It's not the door. And Neo's like, no, dude, it's love. I don't give a fuck about what you say. It's love. But how do you, and that's where I think the Civil War, that's where I would envision this perfect Civil War of almost that part in Braveheart where the two sides are like, it ends up being, I think, the Irish and then William Wallace's guys, but they're all running at each other like they're all going to cut each throats, and they all get up there and then they're like, and they start hugging and and then the Brits are like, what the hell? And they're like, yeah, bitches, we're really together. Like, that's really what has to happen. We have to start seeing the division is not between races, it's not between genders, it's not between, it's not even between men and robots. Robots could totally be programmed to be, not that they're not being programmed to be good, but we all know how that's going. To be tools of manipulation.
Skynet.
Yes, I was talking about somebody that's in the car. Do you remember the movie The Net with Sandra Bullock? Old ass movie.
I don't think I saw it.
But it's basically how these big tech companies built a backdoor into every computer. And that's what's going on with China. China built a secret chip into every Apple product on the planet.
Really?
And that's why Trump went there with the cell phones and did it and then he went over there and canceled the deal with the cell phones and tried to get them to take out all the cell phones. And then you've been seeing recently some of the new F-35 jets that have been crashing or falling. And then all of a sudden that whole new line of jets is taken out. And they're like, oh, what do you know? We had to fix this chip. And they're like, yeah, because China's fucking backdooring everyone. Because Eric Schmidt has already been to China and is working with Dragonfly and Skynet. And then again, just moved Google headquarters to China so that they can bypass all of the American law. They don't need it.
Wow. Just bypass American law and just start just...
I think we'll...
And I'd actually even be interested to even think that, even that $100 billion lawsuit against Google, because I think at some point Schmidt has to cut his ties from Google. So you're even seeing Alphabet's name more. So Alphabet's Google. So now you're even seeing a parent company to Google. So now, Schmidt can be like, well, screw you guys, we'll just get rid of Google, but I'm still the Alphabet guy. Like, that dude, Eric Schmidt and Peter Thiel, the guy that runs Palantir, I think it's Palantir.
Yep.
Those are two scary dudes that we should definitely keep our focus on, because they're global. And not only they're global in scope, they're globalists in nature. So this the open borders thing, like, it's a real thing to them, because that's an agenda. That's like one of their agenda checkers. Open borders, boom. And not in a good sense of like, I love everyone and we can get along. It's massively influx the United States with millions of people. And
hey guys, I'll be right back. Just keep talking. I'll be right back.
Cool.
You're like a Chuck Woolery. I'll be back in 2 and 2. Oh yeah, good stuff.
It's crazy, man.
Right? I did see, or I marked my calendar for, I think it's next May of 2019 in LA. That's when Bill and Hillary Clinton are doing their book tour. So,
wow.
I will be trying to organize a protest for that day at a forum. So
that's
even if it's just me.
Yeah, we'll definitely put that information out for sure.
Who knows? Maybe we should be in jail by then.
I doubt it. If they actually had something they could do to her, she would already be hanging.
Right.
Just because they say they're going after some of these elites doesn't mean they're actually doing it.
Right.
Trying to say it just to appease the people and say, oh, okay, well, at least they're trying to do something. And then the administration turns over and the same thing happened. But if that bitch tries to run for office, it would be laughable, because I think she'd probably win this time.
Oh, God. I mean, I don't know.
That's the scarier part, because there's just that many people that hate Trump.
Yeah, I just think that almost with the last election, you're finding a lot of closet Trumpers, people who probably could have taken a million years that the outer of the globalists, in their opinion, is a globalist. Because that's how a lot of people see Donald Trump. They see him as a globalist. And I'm not saying that he's not. He may very well be. But as far as a businessman, I could see him having a globalist mentality. They're like, yeah, we have a place over here in Indonesia. We can build a hotel. It's like, yeah, fucking hey, build a hotel.
Let's build that fucker.
Build that fucker. I mean, if his global mentality is real estate, then yeah, he would be global. But I don't think his globalist mentality is to, like George Soros, is to go around from, first, second, or third world countries. I really don't give a shit. But use his money to politicize everything, to manipulate outcomes to elections. And I mean, even Sheryl Sandberg, and a couple of clips that a lady heard, she's an InfoWars reporter, her name's Millie Weaver, she has a channel where she's been studying the Sheryl Sandberg stuff, and she's literally testifying to Congress that Facebook's agendas are attached to algorithms that geographically select cities to filter propaganda.
Yeah.
And at that point, I mean, I'm like looking around at the other senators like, wait a minute, crack the gavel and bring in the bailiff. Like, the bitch she's committing a crime. But no,
Right.
they're all just like, wow, that's so fascinating. That's great information. Thank you for the data. And you're like, hello, the bitch just told you she's committing a crime. But again, we're not, they're not doing nothing for that.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Nobody cares. That's the problem.
Right.
Nobody gives a fuck.
I mean,
So
even
how
Does
do
it
we-
affect my daily little reality? No. Then I don't give a shit. That's 95% of the planet.
everyone's just too
And
complacent.
then we're the crazy assholes. Well, that too. And then we're the crazy assholes because we question it all and say, oh, this is fucking bullshit. Oh, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. You're just not normal. Well,
Right.
fuck you.
Well, and that's kind of why, even with the, the last episode we did with the Federal Reserve is, and I went even deeper and I've got even more dates now because what is almost diabolical in a lot of the meditation that became basically that British rule that, again, once the titles of nobility clause, didn't get ratified and it didn't get part of the Constitution where you couldn't be a lawyer, you couldn't be an attorney, you couldn't be a representative. Because at that time, the bar wasn't the American system of creating lawyers. We didn't have that yet. We were still using that system from them, and to this day, it's still part of that transition. So as soon as lawyers and titles of nobility could get into the government, then they could basically start to rewrite and write all of the fucking American law to make it look legal, but in all reality, they were bypassing that legality so that they could start changing shit. And one of those acts that I found was called the Coinage Act. So back in the day, and I don't remember the year, but somewhere between 1700 and 1800, people collected silver and gold bullion. If they were miners or however they got it, and they would collect it, and then you could take that bullion to a smelter, and you could get coins made out of silver. The bankers of the planet have all along picked gold because it's been able to be manipulated. They know where it's at. They know what it takes to ore. Supposedly there's only 163,000 metric tons of gold, which is, of course, bullshit. But, they make these numbers up, and they get this commodity that they can manipulate. So if they can turn that into the gold, the reserve, then not only do they control the commodity that's backing the reserve, then obviously they can control the money too. So they passed a law, this Coinage Act, stating that Americans could no longer take their silver bullion to a smelter to get made into coin.
Right.
And so you're like, well, go fuck yourself. Now I got to get gold? Like, hell no. Because the exchange rate was different. Now I couldn't even take my silver to the exchanger to get gold for the same rate as I could have just made my own fucking silver coin. And so, I mean, it's just ludicrous. The actual manipulation of the precious metals.
All of reality. And let's just fucking call a spade, man.
Every waking aspect.
Every fucking part of it.
Wow, this is so crazy. Okay, I just pulled up one of my American intelligence media pages, and it's so funny. The true backstory of the missing 13th Amendment. In the winter of 1983, archival research expert David Dodge and former Baltimore police investigator Tom Dunn were searching for evidence of government corruption in public records stored in Belfast Library on the coast of Maine. By chance, they discovered the library's oldest authentic copy of the Constitution of the United States, printed in 1825. Both men were stunned to see this document included a 13th Amendment that no longer appears on current copies of the Constitution. Moreover, after studying the amendment's language and historical content, they realized the principal intent of the missing 13th Amendment was to prohibit lawyers from serving in government.
Wow.
Oh, that's so awesome.
We need to plaster that everywhere.
Well, here's the thing that most common people don't understand either is that most people think it's to become a lawyer. You can go and take the bar exam and become a lawyer. You have to go to 4 years of school at least. You have to go to at least 4 years of school. But here's the thing where it starts off at the very beginning. If you think back in time, whenever we started this country, you had to get a referral from a current lawyer in order to take the bar exam. And you still have to this day. Meaning you have to already know a lawyer that will give you the opportunity to take the exam, to take the bar.
Wow.
So that makes sense then, because I also heard that you don't necessarily have to go to law school to take the test
No.
But you would have to be aligned. You'd have to be aligned with a certain attorney for a certain amount of time until they were willing to give you that vouch of confidence, I guess. Does that make sense?
But if you think about it, back in the day, only prominent people were lawyers.
Right.
So only prominent people were lawyers. So the only way to be a lawyer was to know somebody else that had prominence, and those people eventually become our politicians.
Yeah.
You know, it's mostly lawyers who become our politicians, or someone in the legal field. You know.
Right. I mean, and that actually answers the question of why they don't change things like term limits and campaign financing laws and all that shit, or donation laws, is because that's the money train. That's the gravy ticket. You know, so you start changing all that shit, and now the changing of the guard happens more often, and you don't get these 30-year politicians. You know, I mean, and,
God, there was some that have been there forever. There was some that, like, I still like Lamar Alexander from Tennessee. I like him. Like, he tends to block a lot of shit that other Republicans won't even block. You know what I mean? When it comes to like bad for the people, like he'll try to block it anyway, because he's been around for so long that he doesn't give a fuck. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, that's happening a lot, you know, this election, because the number of senators and congressmen or women, I think, who are stepping down as of this election is the most in American history combined.
Whoa.
Yeah, the number of senators and congressmen are all stepping down.
Holy shit. That's a lot.
And one to keep an eye on is Trey Gowdy. Supposedly he's retiring from, I think he's a congressman. He might be a senator, I'm not sure. But he's retiring to supposedly come back to the State Department to be a prosecuting attorney, but it's kind of speculatory.
Yeah?
Which would be cool, because if he was a prosecuting attorney for the military tribunals, that would be cool. But those are a couple of, I guess, conspiracy theory outlets that are a little more far-fetched. I have a really good one that I listened to about the global currency reset, but a lot of it is speculative, so I don't necessarily bring it up a lot. However, I do believe that a global currency reset is coming, so I will plug silver.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's only $14.50 an ounce. That's probably something we should be buying.
What are you gonna do? I mean, it's all a big sham, you know. Fuck it. Just drink a beer, go back to work, pay your taxes, don't complain, put your head back in the sand, sheeple.
I don't know. I'm trying to actually go against all of those things.
Yeah, I think all of us are. I don't think the rest of the people really are.
Yo, I know. You know what? I'm 41. I am still single. I don't have any kids. I've got a huge mouth. I'm full of all kind of hot air. It's like, dude, I don't see any more. I see a bunch of green lights to start like getting some shit out there. I mean, honestly, I can't believe that the Democratic Party aligns themselves with George Soros. That's probably one of the biggest things right now.
That was the stupidest thing they could have done.
But they take his money, and they've been doing it for, I don't know, at least a decade. I mean, same with Hillary.
It's been a while. It's been a while, dude. It's probably been 30 years.
And I didn't bring it up, but I did read an article of how Hungary has actually passed. They're called like the Soros Papers, and how like Hungary, I think that's his original country, has basically ostracized him from his own country. Like he's not allowed to go to
Right.
Well, he rounded up other Jews during the Holocaust to be fucking slaughtered.
Right.
You know? He tries everything not to let that ever get leaked out again, but he did a fucking 60 Minutes interview where he admitted it. That's the craziest part. Back in the 80s, he did a 60 Minutes interview where he talks about how he fucking basically, during the Holocaust, we figured out ways to survive and everything else, and he basically worked for the fucking SS and fucking hunted down other Jews.
Yeah. He's not a good guy. But I mean,
I'm starting to figure out most of them aren't.
Right? So, how do we do it? I don't know. I'd like to live for another 30, 40, 50 years, but I don't want to, how do we change the game for real? I mean, how do you wake millions and millions of people?
I know how we change it.
Oh.
An asteroid.
Oh yeah, well, that would be a good show.
I mean, it's inevitable, right?
Right up here on the West Coast.
We're way overdue.
Shot. That would be fucking awesome. That would only.
That's what they're saying. Caused the Great Flood, correct? Like it was like a fucking meteor or something. Like it superheated the Earth, I guess, and then melted all the ice, and then the evaporation from the heat caused it to rain for that amount of time, which coincided with the start of the last ice age.
Nice. I like that one. I like the Planet Nibiru. You know how we're actually in a dual star system, and then every I think it's 25 or 32,000 years or whatever, then it comes by and messes up everything, and then we get a big old tidal wave. The question is, so are you going to get told to build an ark or not? That's the bigger question. Are you going to get that call?
Oh, I don't know.
You get that bullpen call? He's like, hey, I got something I want you to do.
Hey, if I ever call you guys up and I'm like, hey guys, I got this weird fucking message yesterday. You guys want to help me?
God texted me and told you to make an
I'm in, dude. I'm in. Shit, I'm in. Yeah, especially because I know what we talk about. So if you said that, I'm like, dude, I'm there. Where do I gotta go? Oh yeah, Eden. Right. Duh. I'll see you at Eden. Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. We're technically all in the land of Nod right now.
Right.
The land outside of Eden, Nod.
There was this one video a guy told me about where he's kind of like the fish world, about woolly things. And he has this bunch of really cool sites how he goes over like all the calculations of like seconds and minutes and hours and all the stuff like that. And a lot of these numbers he's posting up on the screen, you're like looking at them, and then he's like, what do they all have in common? And you're like, oh shit. And then he's like, yeah, they add up to 9. And you're like, what the fuck? Like all these just dodecahedrons and tetrons and all these different cubical formations of like the mathematical world, and it's just they all add up to 9. It's like, oh my god, no, that one, it does. Oh my god, it's super trippy.
Tesla would do things like OCD wise, where they'd add up to 9.
Yeah.
Like he would do things in patterns of 3s and 3s. Like sometimes he would get caught.
3, 6, and 9.
Well, sometimes he'd get caught. Like he would actually, he would like flip a white switch. But if he did it two times like consecutively, he would go ahead and keep doing it until it went to 9 or 3 or went to 6.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Because then, if we were talking about life cycles, now you got to really throw in like, hey, maybe the whole thing's just a fucking simulation. If we're really starting.
Could be.
That's when when I started going to college and learning about philosophy, that was one of the biggest stories that drew me in, was just the whole brain in a vat. Like, how do you not know that some scientists is not just poking you and prodding you and stimulating this, stimulating you that? And then that was like when all these Matrix movies comes out, and you're like, dude. But is there really a spoon?
I don't know. It could be aliens.
And if there is, can I be the big spoon? And hopefully she doesn't mind being little spoon. So that would be.
Spooning. Hey now.
Oh yeah. But what really sucks is that a lot of the normal everyday things that I used to like, I don't love football anymore. I know that's probably sad to say. But
I'm the same way, man.
I don't love sports, all that, I love thinking and hoping that I could be a athlete still. So, still trying to exercise and even try to get into personal training. I think that'd be something I could do. But it's just crazy how a lot of that stuff you just don't see the same anymore, because people are, the tax cut made, Trump's this, they made the rich richer. It's like, you don't even know. There's everything we do is making the rich richer. That's because we still believe in shit like deflate or inflation and, higher taxes and, corporate expenditures and all this bullshit that has nothing to do with the flourishment of what natural life is. So.
Or like
no,
us supporting the beef industry. How somebody was talking the other day on here that how much it would cost if they didn't pump extra money into the beef industry for subsidies, like them eating corn. You know what I mean? Because like beef, cows are not supposed to eat corn. That's how we got E. coli 233, which is the E. coli that actually hurts human beings. It's actually a mutated version of E. coli that it's causing the gut biome of a cow that eats corn. That's how we actually got it. That's how
Wow.
it was created. So they're not supposed to eat corn. It actually damages their system, but it fattens them up really fast. And so we feed it to them anyway because, of course, if you're breeding cattle, you want them to go to market as fat as possible and as soon as possible. Um,
Makes
so
sense.
we have this in the marketplace, and then it turns out we subsidize corn on a huge like industrial level through government subsidies in order to feed the cattle. And so it costs us tons of money,
Wow.
tons and tons of money, in order to get them this cheap grain, in order to get us cheaper beef at the supermarket.
Yeah, and that's kind of one thing. I'm taking this nutrition class that's attached to the personal training stuff, and even just a couple of chapters. I mean, all you see is exposure on every level. You know, the farmers. This isn't in the book, but I know that the farmers are being led down the whole Monsanto route. You know, or the way the farmers are getting the seeds is getting shrink down to certain ABC vendors. And those ABC vendors are all getting their, glyphosate, for I guess lack of a better chemical.
Yes,
that's the shit that's all the shit that's in the Roundup. So they're even bypassing a lot of the, liquid deterrents because it's in the fucking seed. And you have to get registered seeds. So you got to get seeds from, Monsanto or whoever this and that. And it's like, well, wait a minute, you guys are the perpetuators of the problem. There's a huge lawsuit that Monsanto just settled. It was $289 million. But the system is only letting you get the source from the perpetrator. And that's the same with the food. And a lot of the farmers are getting, I guess, marginalized because, again, they don't care about the farmer. I mean, I don't know.
Something scary I watched on this subject was Bill Nye. Bill Nye Saves the World is a show on Netflix.
Yeah.
One of his first episodes was where he literally all it was like it should have said like in a big bulletin before the episode, like sponsored in part by Monsanto. Like sponsored in part by Monsanto, where we make food for the entire world. Monsanto, we're not poisoning you guys. We're making food. And so he does this episode. It's literally just him talking about GMO food's fine. It's good for you. You'll be all right. You know what I mean? It's no big fucking deal. But he just goes on and on and on without giving any kind of a real counterbalance to his argument or letting anybody else be part of the argument that's not like in the Monsanto family of scientists. Like glyphosate, that's shit's poison.
Yeah.
It's poison.
And that's what I'm learning about sugar too. I obviously, you always grow up and think sugar is, it's bad for you. You shouldn't eat that much of it, but sugar's really fucking bad for you.
Yeah.
Way worse than most people know.
Yeah, it's really.
I've been telling people that for years, and fucking nobody listens.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you got to lose a little bunch of weight, cut out all the sugar, and drink a bunch of water for a month, and watch it just melt off of you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm subject to that. I love some sugar, but again, you got to be open, at least open to the knowledge, and then you're like, holy shit! Like
sometimes you get a blizzard and you want to do a line. I mean,
it's about the same thing though. It's as addictive.
Yeah.
It's just
sugar's actually more addictive. It's more addictive actually. They've proven it because it's in everything, and not everybody does cocaine.
And especially to diabetics, it's like. Because they literally crave something that will kill them.
Well, that was the biggest epiphany on diabetes is that it's literally a self-induced disease.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's where I kind of.
And if you cut out the sugar, you can actually reverse the effects of it.
Right.
Because what happens is that your what the fuck is it?
Your
Your glucose spikes so high that like you can't. Your brain gets used to a certain level of it, and your nerves start reacting differently or whatever if those certain levels aren't met, and it takes a few days to kind of like allow your body to re-baseline, and then that's how you like start to move into ketosis and all that, as far as just, you know,
It's
being
super hard
healthier.
for somebody who actually, once you're really hardcore diabetic, like you've already screwed up enough that like you really can't, because like me and my dad have talked. My parents are both like extreme type 2 diabetic, where they're like on insulin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I've been
Yeah.
aware my whole life, like, hey, they fucked this up this way, and I shouldn't do that. I stay away from
Right.
cookies, cakes, ice cream, fucking. I run from it. I run from it. But once you hit a certain level, like your body doesn't know how to stop itself from going into sugar plunge either. Like you can drop, because like how you get into ketosis is if you drop your sugar level so low that like your body changes things over. You put some meat in it, you know what I mean, and it starts changing things over to ketosis. You start burning fat. You can reach a level. If you get it at early stages, you can reverse it. If you wait until it's too late, you can't reverse it because your body will just sugar fail. You'll go into a coma and you'll die.
Wow.
Huh.
That's a trick.
Yeah, you'll just go into a coma and your body doesn't switch it over to ketosis anymore. So I mean I tried to take that route with my parents. I was like, man, I could put you guys on and they were like, no, my doctor actually said I can't do that because I've reached a level that
It becomes chronic, right?
Yeah, it becomes it's absolutely chronic. It'd kill them.
Right.
Their body.
And that was.
Wow.
I just thought they were smoking a bunch of weed with the diseases too. I was like, yo, that chronic's good for everything. Like, oh no, you mean that kind of
My bad. Lost in translation, bro.
You remember there's two meanings in the dictionary underneath that? Chronic, weed. Chronic, constant.
It said see Snoop Dogg. I don't know what after that. I was like, oh, okay.
See Snoop Dogg. Oh, man. To think once upon a time, he was tried for murder, and now he hangs out with Martha Stewart.
He's everywhere, dude. They got him out here doing commercials for ED pills, the whole 9 yards.
Damn.
He's everywhere out here. Oh,
damn.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the commercial, whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's the kind of guy I'd be like, man, I'd like to hang out with Snoop Dogg.
He's got lots of hoes, man. Take his pills. Take his pills.
Man, I would not fucking want to like get high with Snoop Dogg though. I have a low tolerance for weed. Funny enough, he said the one person he couldn't outsmoke weed with was fucking Willie Nelson.
Nice. Yeah, Willie's an OG.
He said Willie put me under the fucking table. I was like, yeah, he probably did. That old motherfucker.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Goddamn, man.
Good times.
Right.
So,
Okay.
I think we're at like, we're
an hour and a half.
Yeah, an hour and a half.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Wrap this one up and let me go ahead.
And, reconvene around a little after the elections, I think.
Oh yeah,
We
have to. We have to.
Yeah.
Like we need the
Pick
fucking.
that one back up.
We need Mr. Maag to fucking run it up the fucking flagpole and be like, all right, we won in Delaware, we won in Texas, the Democrats won in fucking North Dakota, fucking it's a real battleground.
I'm down for the recap. It's just a matter again if that does happen, and I mean if the Republicans maintain at least a majority, then I really think we could be on the line for some good change. But it's going to, at that point, if we come back and that's the case where, the Republicans maintain the House, the Senate, and the presidency, somewhere in there, it's got to be some sort of, even if you have an hour a week, we've got to find some way to start getting third dimensional with, you know, the movement. And for some, even for guys like me, it might just be standing on the corner with a sign that just says Q, or who knows. But
Yeah.
if that's the case, if we get the mechanism to make the change, which is just, and for now it's Republican, and it's only in name only. It's got to be a movement of the people for, you know, maybe in opposition to status quo government or status quo politics, but, you know, because that doesn't limit liberals. You know, you can still be progressive, you know, but you just don't have to be all out, all hate and all violence. You know, like the Democrats, they have to be able to come to the table with some sort of campaign or platform, and not that Republicans don't either, but that's where I think, you know, if that happens, then we've got to start initiating some sort of way that we can be active and use that to our benefit to get real change after Trump is done.
You know,
Right.
You're talking about the violence and things, man. What really gets me is like Antifa is the anti-fascist Antifa or a fascist organization. Yeah. But
absolutely,
they're combating another fascist organization. It's such a fucking weird paradox. Like, what in the hell is really going on? Like, that's a strange paradox.
The people that fight for them are actually against their morals and policies. I mean,
right.
You know, and that's where I think that we, you know, the academic and the academia of it all has really gotten involved with these terms like fascism and socialism, and they've painted them again in this positive aspect where, you know, is there enough of those resources? Yes, but a socialist and fascist platform? No. No. Let's go back to this democracy thing, and we can agree to disagree, but the majority should be able to prevail, or if at least worst best, a representative republic should be able to prevail. And if you lose, then you know what? Shut up, and we'll see you again in the midterms. Like that, you know. I mean, you didn't see any of this stuff going on with Obama, and I mean, I know there was enough people that didn't like Obama, and the same can be said for Kennedy and Reagan and Bush and Clinton. There were people that didn't like these people. There was lots of them, but nobody was out there assassinating, you know, shooting senators or, you know, mailing pipe bombs, and you know. But so we'll see if that's the case. Then we have our own agenda to adhere to.
Right.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well,
enjoy your Friday.
And
yeah,
everybody, have a good one.
Thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Right. Thanks, Mike. Keep kicking ass, dude. Talk to you soon.
Take care, fellas.
Peace, y'all.
Later.
This has been ADHD, if I can get the words out of my mouth. Peace.